Welcome back. We have joining us in the studio Barrister Chukwuneke Anabogo. He will be joining us to look at the newspapers we have this morning and see how they affect our everyday lives today in Anambra and wherever you may find yourself. So, Barrister, you're welcome to Anambra Broadcasting Service.
Thank you so much.
I think this is your first time or inside the studio.
Yeah, this is my first time. This is my first time in the TV.
Yeah.
I've been on the radio before.
Okay. So you're a family member.
Yeah, I'm a family member. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the weekend show.
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
So we'll begin with the website news on ABS website, www.absradiotv.com. We'll begin with flood submerges more communities in Anambra. Residents count losses. Flood submerges more communities in Anambra. Residents count losses. CBN revokes Sky Bank's license. Polaris Bank to take over assets. This is one of the biggest news of yesterday evening. CBN revokes Sky Bank's license. Polaris Bank to take over assets. Obiano receives more commendations on prudent management of resources. Obiano receives more commendations on prudent management of resources. Anambra residents urged to avoid abuse of environment, and Anambra government restates commitment towards tackling menace of flooding.
Menace of flooding. Please, can you start with the flooding?
It's really a big menace because some couple of years ago, the same thing happened in Kogi State when the dam in Cameroon was overflooded, and the Nigerian government was, informed, intimated on time. Unfortunately, the flood came and ravaged communities, and people lost properties worth several billions of naira. And it's unfortunate this same year again, the same thing is happening, despite warnings by government agencies and NIMIT and the rest, and this thing is happening.
One concern I have about this issue of Cameroon opening their dams and Nigeria being at the receiving end of such policies, I feel that government should have done something at this point to handle that matter. We can't always be on the receiving end of this error. Yes,
that's been the problem. And then we don't want communities, people living in communities, to give away from the shores of the river. There is a normal gap, mileage you give from the banks of the river to where you keep your houses. Unfortunately, Nigerians wouldn't listen. They'll still go close to the boundaries. Sometimes the citizens get to be blamed. But I'm happy the government is responding well, especially in Anambra State. I saw the governor the other day with vice president. They were on the canoe going to visit communities, and most of the members of the communities have received the relief materials. And I'm happy with the steps the state government is taking about it. I'm really happy.
All right.
All right. So I would have said let's talk about the Polaris Bank, but then let's go over to the Daily Sun, the Daily Times newspaper. Right there, boldly in front of that paper, we have who takes over from Arebeshola as Osun elects new governor today. 48 candidates in the race, 4 major contenders in focus. And then on top of that paper, we have CBN takes over Sky Bank, changes name to Polaris Bank, revokes license, injects 786 billion naira to Save Bank, and directs APCON to begin sales process on Monday. And then below that, we have NYSC saga, my case not like Kemi Adeosun. That's Communication Minister Shitu speaking. And then we also have EFCC moves against election fraud, tracks campaign financing by parties. And then we have the one by the movie star who says, even with $1 million naira, I will never act nude. And that's Femi Adebayo. So now let's talk about Polaris Bank. Do you think that customers of Skybank has any reason to fear anything?
First of all, they don't have any reasons to fear. But in banking law and banking generally, there's a theory known as domino theory. In that theory, it talks about the effects of banking policies or banking problems on customers and on other banks as well. Because this kind of news ought to be managed better than it is being managed. I'm not happy with the way the news is being managed. Because as of yesterday, people were trooping to ATM points, galleries to take up their money. And I assure you by Monday, people will be at the bank. You know, there will be a panic withdrawal by people of who have funds in those banks. But the good thing is that NDIC is doing very well. Alaji, the MD of the company, is doing well, and CBN intervened timely. I'm only concerned about the management of the information. Polaris Bank is a bridge bank. They are going to manage the assets of the bank pending when a better bank comes to acquire the assets and liabilities.
Okay, one more question on this before we go to another paper. We've seen some things like this happen over and over again. Is it that our financial sector has not been stabilized enough, or is it just about the management of that bank?
I think it has to do with management, because I've read somewhere where banks, instead of them to hold their AGM, their directors meeting in Nigeria, you see them flying to London to hold meetings, and the kind of money those at the top spend, leaves much to be desired. And you find out that in some banks don't really make money from loan, because where you should make money is loan. Well, you see them trying to make money from ATM surcharge and all those things. So they are not really doing well. Okay. Some of them are not really doing well. Okay. And it has more to do with management. Okay,
let's look at the Nation newspaper. The big news is still on Osun. Decision day in Osun, 1.2 million voters pick Alebosola's successor today. Oyetola, Omisore, Adereke, Adeoti, Akembade in tough contest. No phone, camera in voting cubicle. INEC insists how electorate will vote. That's an analysis. CBN revokes Skybank's license, still on the big news. INEC releases fresh concern over delayed 2019 pool budget. Rivers displaces Lagos as top investment destination. That's the major stories we have there. I want to bring to the no phone cameras in voting cubicle. INEC insists. That's a policy INEC is coming up with to ensure that there is seamless reduction in the number of sales or transactional voting happening in our polling booths. Do you think is a right step in the right direction, looking at ensuring there is a credible and transparent electoral process?
The news earlier before now has been that you shouldn't bring in any smartphone or any phone at all into the voting arena. But then yesterday there was a clarification by the resident electoral commissioner for Oyo State that INEC meant that the phones shouldn't be taken to the cubicle where you vote, because people normally snap where they endorse a candidate or they vote for a candidate, and then go back to collect their money or remuneration, whatever you may call it. So I think it's a right step in the right direction. But then it may not stop vote buying, because vote buying appears to have taken the center stage of our politics nowadays. But the only thing that can stop vote buying is for INEC to really implement the laws, because we have laws, very good laws in Nigeria, but we don't implement them. Yes. In all my law school and all the law reports I've read, I've never seen where somebody has been prosecuted for engaging in either vote buying or collection of money.
But you know one thing about this vote buying process of phone, like let me use Anambra for example. Yes. We saw people, not just journalists, ordinary people, taking pictures of what is happening in those centers and uploading. And it's, to an extent, it helped in putting credibility in Anambra election. Don't you think this would be a shot in the leg?
That's why INEC have come up again with a somersault. Okay. Now they are saying that there is a restriction on the cubicle alone. Okay. Before they say you shouldn't bring the phone again. So you are free to record other things that are happening. Okay. But like I said, it will not stop vote buying. It's not going to stop it.
All right, so let's look at the Orient weekend. This one said, Panic returns as NFF president. And then we also have shocking. Sex workers demand alternative brothel in Onitsha. And down there we have African religion superior to other religions. That's Gordian priests. And we have police insist on charging Senator Adeleke for exam malpractice. And then we also have rival courts clash Rival courts clash claims life in Ebonyi State. So let's talk about this examination malpractice and Senator Adeleke. Davido is all over the police campaigning, saying, "Come and vote for my uncle." And now we had the story of what's it called? The former Minister of Finance. And now we're talking about Senator Adeleke. That's a dancing senator. What do you have to say?
Well, I'm quite surprised that the prosecution for examination malpractice is coming up now. And we wonder why in Nigeria politics things keep repeating themselves. I don't know why those in power will keep prosecuting those that in opposition. This exam malpractice stuff, going by the police release that I read, happened sometime in May 2017. And I don't know why it's now that the man is...
Maybe that's when the blackmail came up.
So I wonder. But I'm happy the president of Nigeria has ordered the police to put a stay on whatever they are doing until after the elections. Because it may swing sympathy to PDP, which is the opposition party in the state, as against the Boyega in APC. So I'm happy the president has taken action on that, pending the outcome of the election.
We'll now take the last paper for this morning.
Okay, so let's take the Saturday Sun. And right there on Saturday Sun, we have a lot of headlines, but because of time, we'll have to look at this one. As APC leaders decide Lagos governor fate today, Ambode turns to God. Governor's mom relocates to Ebe, joins 21-man prayer warriors vigil. It is too late, says Tinubu. Now let's talk about this one, please. It really caught my attention. Now the governor's mom joining 21-man prayer
team. They have to pull down the heavens.
You know, in Nigeria we are so religious. Whenever we can't find physical, pragmatic solutions to our problem, we turn to God. But when we are doing the wrong things, we don't turn to God. We don't remember there is a God.
But then do you think it's too late?
It's never late, but you know, the way you came into an office should determine how you behave. If somebody ferried you into this place, you have to play the politics to the letter and see that you are re-elected. But not when you come and start turning to the tables all around. And then...
and checking tables that when they break, they fall. I think that's all we can take for this morning on the newspaper review because of time. Thank you, Barrister Chukwuneke Anambra, for joining us this morning, airing your views and throwing light, especially as it concerns the CBN issue. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.